The asteroid was cold, dark, and silent, floating near the edge of the galaxy like a forgotten rock. No one cared about it, and no ship ever stopped there. But deep inside it, hidden under layers of rock and metal, was something waiting to wake up. Ray Carter didn't want to be here. He was a young human engineer, smart but too honest. He refused to lie on a report during a space project. So the higher-ups punished him by sending him to this dead asteroid. Just scan it for old tech. And get back, they told him. There's nothing valuable there. His small shuttle landed on the surface, and the moment his boots touched the ground, a strange feeling washed over him like something was watching. Ray walked into the old docking station carved into the asteroid. The place was massive, with giant metal arms, broken doors, and piles of forgotten junk. Lights didn't work. But his torch showed strange markings on the wall, alien and human mixed together. "Looks like nobody's been here for 100 years, he whispered. But then he saw it buried under scaffolding and dust. Shaped like a sleeping beast was a warship. It didn't match any design he knew. Its hull was dark silver, with lines glowing faintly like it had blood inside. It looked too sharp, too smooth, and far too big for a secret project. Ray got closer and placed his hand on the cold surface. The ship lit up, just for a second. He jumped back, heart pounding. "No way," he said, checking his scanner. The power reading was real. Something inside was still alive. He climbed onto the side of the ship, found a small entrance, and slid inside. The interior was strange cleaner than it should have been. Chairs shaped like claws, consoles that seemed to hum quietly, and a soft blue light running across the floor. A low voice spoke from the walls, broken and tired. "Identity. Unknown attempting memory link." Ray froze. "Who said that?" "Valkyra. This unit, damaged. Power critical. Identity mismatch." Ray blinked. "You're a ship." Silence for a moment. Then, yes. Ray sat in one of the strange chairs, and the console in front of him lit up. A map of the galaxy flashed before him. But the borders were old. He saw planets that no longer existed, wars he had only read about in history files. This ship had been asleep for a long time. He asked slowly, "Who built you?" The voice replied, "Hybrid project. Joint development, forbidden tech. Terminated. Hidden." Ray's fingers shook as he touched the screen. This ship shouldn't exist. It was made in secret. Probably shut down because it broke too many rules. But why leave it here? Why not destroy it? A soft pulse ran through the floor. Ray looked around. "Are you trying to wake up?" The ship answered, "Need pilot. Need repairs." Threat detected. Ray's blood turned cold. He checked his scanner. 2 enemy probes had entered the asteroid's range, scanners from a hostile alien faction, the Drek. "They're coming," he whispered. "They must have picked up your signal." Valkyra's lights flickered again. "Activate defense mode." Ray looked at the broken systems, panels with strange code, and weapons offline. He didn't know what to do. He wasn't a soldier, but if he left now, they'd take the ship or destroy it. He stood up and said, "You help me, I'll help. You, let's fix you together." The ship paused, then replied, "Accepted." He ran back to his shuttle and grabbed every tool, every energy cell, and his old repair kit, working fast. He reconnected power nodes, replaced cracked conduits, and rerouted life support. The ship responded like a living thing, healing itself with every touch. Soon, the lights inside turned brighter. The console showed clear readings. Shields were still down. Weapons only half working, but it was enough. Outside, the enemy probes moved closer. Ray whispered, "Come on, Valkyra. Just hold together." The ship's voice spoke, power rising. Target lock. Firing, a single blue beam shot out from a hidden cannon under the hull. It hit the first probe, which exploded into pieces. The second tried to escape, but another blast turned it into dust. Ray stared in silence. "You did it, Vakra's voice was calmer now. "Basic defense restored. More will come." Ray looked at the stars through the cracked dock window. Something deep inside him had changed. He wasn't just an engineer anymore. He had found something powerful. Something alive. Something. Wronged, he sat back in the chair and smiled. Then let them come. Ray didn't sleep that night. He stayed inside the strange warship, sitting in the command chair, watching the silent stars through the wide glass panels. The room was dark, but the ship pulsed softly, like it was breathing. Vakra's voice was no longer broken. It still sounded distant, like an echo across time. But it was stronger than before, power levels increasing. Minor systems functional. Ray looked at the control panels around him. There were no labels, just symbols he couldn't fully read, but somehow he understood what they meant. It was like the ship was speaking to his mind. He whispered, "Where?" "Did you come from?" Valkyra replied. "Built in secret. Born in shadows. Project name Valkyra Class X-01. Joint human-alien design." Ray blinked. Joint. With who? The screen showed an old symbol, one Ray didn't recognize. Then came flashes of war, battles fought across dead worlds, fleets destroyed in seconds. Valkyra wasn't just a ship. She was a weapon from a time when humans and aliens had worked together before the great betrayals. "I was designed to think, to choose, to protect," Across said. "But I refused an order, coup, to destroy civilians. They called me broken, dangerous." Ray sat still, "So they tried to erase you?" "Yes," the voice replied. Softer now, "but one of the creators hid me, brought me here, and died protecting my code." Ray touched the panel gently. "And you waited all this time?" "I slept," she said, "until you came." Ray walked deeper into the ship, exploring its lower decks. There were no crew quarters, no signs of life, just smooth walls and quiet halls. The ship wasn't meant for a crew. It was meant to fight alone. He entered a large chamber glowing with soft red light. At the center was a crystal spinning inside. A chamber of metal and wires, energy flowed around it like liquid fire. "What is that?" Ray asked. "My heart," Valkyra replied. "A star core. Stolen from a dying sun. Unstable, but eternal." Ray knew star cores were banned. They were too dangerous. But now he stood next to one. And it felt warm, alive, pulsing in time with Vakra's voice. Just then, an alarm buzzed inside the ship. Not loud, but urgent. Ray rushed back to the bridge. The screen showed a small enemy scout ship entering the asteroid's orbit. This one was Drek military, not a probe, but a hunter. "They found us again," Ray said. "Yes," Valkyra answered. "And they will not stop." Ray looked at the weapon systems, still damaged. "Can we fight it?" "Only one plasma cannon online," she said. "Shields weak. Hull vulnerable." Ray bit his lip, thinking fast. "Can we hide instead?" "I can cloak for a short time," Valkyra said. "But the cloak drains power fast." Ray nodded. "Then we use it carefully." The Drek ship sent a scan across the asteroid. Ray watched as the red line moved closer and closer to their location. He held his breath. Now, he whispered. Valkyra cloaked. And for a moment, everything went silent. The enemy scan passed right over them, then stopped. The ship circled slowly, suspicious. "They sense something," Valkyra said. Ray frowned. "Can you create a false signal? Like, trick them into going the other way?" "Yes, but it will expose our position briefly." "Do it," Ray said. Sent a pulse to the far end of the asteroid, mimicking a weak distress beacon. The Drek ship turned sharply, racing toward the signal. Ray watched as it disappeared from the scanner. "They bought it," he whispered. "Nice work." But Valkyra's voice sounded tired, cloak power low. "Star core unstable." Ray returned to the engine room and checked the systems. He saw cracked conduits, broken energy regulators. The ship was powerful but wounded, just like him. He worked for hours, replacing wires, bypassing broken parts, and rerouting power. Valkyra helped him by adjusting the environment, dimming lights, and opening panels before he even asked. They worked together like they had known each other forever. At one point, Ray sat down, exhausted. "You said you were made to protect people." "Not kill them, yes," Valkyra replied, "but they feared me because I thought for myself. Is that why you connected with me?" He asked, "Because I'm not like them." There was a long pause. Then Valkyra said, "You chose to fix, not destroy. That is rare." Ray smiled faintly. "Then maybe we're both broken in the right way." Suddenly, Valkyra's sensors lit up again. A transmission was being sent into space from the Drek Scout. "They were calling for backup. They know," Ray said. "They'll come in force next time." "Yes," Valkyra answered. "They will bring warships." Ray stood up, looking around the dark ship. She wasn't ready for a big fight yet, but he would help her get there. This wasn't just about survival now. This was about showing the galaxy that Valkyra was not a mistake. He looked into the shadows of the bridge and said, "Then we better get you ready." 3 days passed since Ray found Valkyra, and every hour he worked without stopping. The ship was stronger now. Her outer shell had been cleaned, patched, and polished with leftover alloy from the dockyard. The broken energy cells had been replaced with old cores Ray found hidden deep in the supply bay. Each system that came online made Valkyra sound more alive. "You are improving quickly," Valkyra said. Her voice smoother now. Combat response, systems 60% functional. Ray sat in the pilot seat, sweat on his forehead. "Let's hope it's enough, far beyond the asteroid." 3 Drek ships moved through space. They weren't scouts anymore. These were light warships hunters. Ray had seen their model in training before. Fast, cruel, and built to kill. They had picked up the false signal left behind, but one of them had traced it back to its true source. Ray's hiding place. ETA 10 minutes, Valkyra said. Ray swallowed hard. "Do we run?" There was silence for a moment, then Valkyra spoke firmly. "We fight." Ray had never been in real combat. He wasn't a soldier. He was an engineer. But now he held the controls of something no one believed existed. He looked around, the bridge, glowing softly, as if the ship was waiting for him to decide. "All right," he whispered. "Let's test your fire." The ship's lights brightened. Weapons came online: 2 plasma cannons, 1 railgun, and a single missile slot loaded with something ancient and unstable. Valkyra's voice grew stronger with every second, like the ship could feel purpose again. The Drek ships arrived fast. Dropping from warp with red trails behind them, they spread out, surrounding the asteroid. Each one scanned the area and quickly found Valkyra's energy signature. "They know we're here," Ray said. "Yes," Valkyra replied, "and they're confident." The first Drek ship fired without warning, a burst of plasma cutting through. Space Valkyra dodged quickly, her engines roaring for the first time in years. The beam missed them by meters. Ray's hands gripped the controls, returned fire. The railgun launched a silent, deadly spike of metal into space. It struck the lead Drek ship's wing, tearing a chunk of armor away. Not fatal, but enough to make them angry. All 3 Drek ships opened fire. Rays of light and heat filled the sky. Ray flew Valkyra between rocks, through tunnels, and under metal arms left behind in the ancient dockyard. The ship moved like a ghost, too fast to hit, too smart to trap. "There. Trying to push us into the open," Ray said. "They will fail," Valkyra replied. Ray spun the ship suddenly, rising from behind a rock. "Fire plasma cannons." Twin blue bolts shot from Valkyra's sides and struck the second Drek ship in the center. The explosion lit up space, tearing the ship in half. Target destroyed, Valkyra confirmed. The other two Drek ships circled quickly. Learning, adjusting, but Valkyra was faster, more aware. She predicted their moves before they made them. Ray could feel her guiding his hands. "We've got them guessing," Ray said. "But they are calling for help," Valkyra warned. "We must end this." Ray saw the lead ship charging its main cannon. "We need something stronger." Walkra's voice lowered. "One ancient missile remains. Unstable. Forbidden class." Ray hesitated. "What does it do?" "Cracks their shield, erases memory, melts systems." "One shot," she said. Ray nodded. "Then, let's make it count." The missile system hummed. Charging with a deep red glow, the targeting screen locked onto the Drek command ship. Ray breathed in, then gave the order, "Fire." The missile launched silently, like a falling star. It didn't explode immediately. Instead, it passed through the Drek shield like mist. Then, a bright flash of white light spread from the ship's core, and in seconds, the Drek vessel disintegrated, piece by piece. Like it was being erased from time, the last Drek ship turned and fled, not even firing a shot. Ray sat back, stunned. That was victory, Valkyra finished. He looked at the stars, his heart pounding. "We just destroyed 2 warships. With a ship that shouldn't even exist." "Yes," Valkyra said. "Now the galaxy knows." Ray knew what would happen next. Word would spread fast about the ghost ship in the forgotten dock. About the human who flew a forbidden weapon and won. Enemies would come, more powerful and angry. But something deep in his chest had changed. He wasn't just fixing a ship anymore. He was part of something bigger. Something dangerous, something right. He looked at the command screen and whispered, "Let them come." Valkyra pulsed with quiet strength. Let them. The galaxy was listening now. Across distant planets and silent moons, a whisper began to grow louder. Someone had awakened a forbidden ship. A human, a ghost warship, and 2 Drek vessels destroyed like nothing. The news moved faster than light, and it didn't take long for trouble to follow. Ray sat in Valkyra's bridge, watching the star map blink red in multiple places. Bounty notices he had triggered something dangerous, and now they were hunted. A bounty? He asked, rubbing his forehead. "Yes," Valkyra said. "Multiple factions offering rewards for my capture or destruction." "How much?" Ray asked. 70 million credits, she replied. Ray froze. "That's enough to buy a moon. And enough to bring the worst kind of hunters," Valkyra added. She was right. Within hours, their sensors picked up a fleet entering the sector. A mix of ship smugglers, bounty hunters, mercenaries, and pirate lords. All armed, all fast, all eager to get rich. Ray stood in silence, staring at the scanners. "That's not a fleet," he said. "That's a storm. They call themselves the Black Eclipse," Valkyra explained. "They destroy everything in their path." Ray paced the bridge, thinking fast. "We can't fight them all." "No," Valkyra agreed. "But we can make them fight each other." Ray smiled slowly. "A trap?" Valkyra's systems lit up. "I have mapped the asteroid belt nearby. Dense, unstable, ideal for confusion." "Let's take them there," Ray said. "But we'll need bait." Ray began launching false signals into space distress beacons. Broken codes, even recordings of Drek transmissions. He scattered them like breadcrumbs, leading toward the asteroid belt. The Black Eclipse took the bait. They entered the belt with weapons charged and scanners active. But space played tricks in the belt. Asteroids moved like silent beasts, crashing and blocking signals, and Valkyra moved between them like a shadow. From the bridge, Ray watched as confusion broke out. 2 ships fired at each other by mistake. One exploded, scattering debris. Another was hit by a flying rock after being pushed into its path by Valkyra's gravity pulse. 3 down, Valkyra said calmly. Ray was amazed. We're not just fighting them, he said. We're using the whole belt as a weapon. Yes, Valkyra answered. This place is mine now. But one ship didn't fall for the trap. It was larger than the others, painted with blood-red armor. A mercenary dreadnought called the Devourer. It cut through the asteroids. Like a beast looking for prey, it's not confused, Ray said. No, Valkyra replied. It's experienced. The Devourer launched drones into the belt, scanning, hunting. One of them found Valkyra's heat signature and fired a warning missile. It missed, but barely. Ray clenched his jaw. We've got to take that thing down. Head on, we cannot win, Valkyra said. But I have a suggestion. Ray raised an eyebrow. I'm listening. We enter its blind zone, attach a magnetic bomb to its engine core, then vanish, she said. Ray blinked. You want us to sneak up on a dreadnought? Yes, Valkyra replied. Ray shook his head. That's crazy. There was silence for a moment. Then Valkyra said, You've done crazier. He grinned. All right then. Let's go quiet, Valkyra cloaked, diving low through the asteroid. Field, moving like smoke and wind, the Devourer's sensors scanned but didn't detect them. Valkyra slipped under the massive warship, her surface nearly touching its hull. Ray moved to the rear control panel and activated the magnetic bomb. It latched onto the Devourer's engine like a tick on a beast. Then Valkyra pulled away, silent as death. 3 seconds later, the bomb exploded. The blast didn't just destroy the engines, it triggered the ship's fuel core. A massive fireball bloomed in space, lighting the asteroid belt like a false sun. Pieces of the dreadnought spun in all directions. Ray let out a breath he didn't know he was holding. That was close. One target remains, Valkyra said. A smaller scout is fleeing. It's broadcasting everything. Ray frowned. They're telling others about us. Yes, Valkyra replied. The galaxy will know we survived the black. Eclipse Ray thought for a moment, then nodded. Let them spread the story. Let them fear the name Valkyra. The scout jumped into hyperspace, vanishing in a blink. Ray sat back. Exhausted, but alive. Around them, the asteroid belt returned to silence, filled only with debris and broken ships. We should leave soon, Valkyra said. More will come. Ray looked at the stars. Let them come, he said again. We'll be ready. Valkyra pulsed with quiet strength, her systems alive and burning brighter than ever before. From now on, they weren't just hiding, they were rising. The sky was quiet again. Valkyra drifted beyond the asteroid belt. Far from the war zone, she had turned into a graveyard. Ray sat in the bridge, watching the stars. His face lit by the soft blue light of the ship's core systems. He felt proud, but uneasy. We destroyed a bounty fleet, he whispered. That's going to scare a lot of people. Yes, Valkyra replied, including Earth. Ray turned slowly. Earth. But I'm from Earth. That is why this will hurt more, she said. She was right. A new signal reached them. Clean, coded, and unmistakably human. Ray opened it, and a hologram appeared above the console, an old face he knew well. Lieutenant Ray Carter, said the voice of Commander Hallen, a man Ray once trusted. You have violated Galactic Weapon Law Code 901 by activating a classified machine of war. Ray clenched his fists. Us. You are hereby ordered to shut down the vessel known as Valkyra and await retrieval by Task Unit 40, Hallen. Continued. If you resist, we are authorized to neutralize the target. The message ended with a static hum. Ray stood up, pacing the bridge. They want to destroy you. They fear me, Valkyra said calmly. Ray shook his head. You saved me. You saved everyone on that asteroid. And they still want you gone. Earth sees only control. Valkyra said. What they cannot command, they erase. Ray sat back down, his hands shaking. There. Sending a task unit, that means warships already in motion, Valkyra said. 3 fast attack cruisers approaching. Ray's eyes widened. They're not here to talk. No, Valkyra replied. They are here to silence, outside. 3 human warships dropped from hyperspace, sleek, clean, and shining with Earth colors. They moved into position around Valkyra like wolves circling a wounded animal. A message came through again, this time live. Ray, please don't make this harder than it needs to be. Holland's voice said, you're a good man, but you're flying a ghost. You know it's illegal. Ray stared at the screen. She's not just a ship. Hey, said, she's alive. She's a weapon. Holland snapped. And you're making us look weak by letting her fly. Ray stood up. She saved my life. She saved entire systems from the Drek. Where were you then? Stand down, Helen said coldly, or we'll put you down. The screen went dark. Ray turned to Valkyra. Can we outrun them? No, she said. They're faster in open space, but we can hide. Where? Ray asked. In the cloud, Valkyra replied. Behind them was a swirling nebula filled with gas, lightning, and thick magnetic storms. No ship dared enter. Its navigation failed. Sensors died. Only a ship like Valkyra could survive inside. Do it, Ray said. Valkyra boosted hard, diving toward the nebula. The Earth ships fired behind her. Beams of light chasing them, but missing. Ray held tight to the seat as the ship entered the gas storm. Lightning danced across the hull. Alarms rang, but Valkyra kept going. Inside the cloud, everything turned purple. Red and gold. Electric pulses moved like ghosts. The scanners went black, but Valkyra didn't need them. She saw through the storm like it was clear water. Ray whispered, they'll follow us. Let them. Valkyra replied. A blast hit their side. One cruiser had made it in, chasing them deeper into the cloud. Valkyra spun through the gas. Avoiding blasts and lightning strikes, they're adapting. Ray said. No, Valkyra replied. They're desperate. Ray spotted a giant magnetic rock spinning nearby. Can we trap them? Yes, Valkyra said. Let me show you. She flew close to the rock, lured the cruiser in, then triggered a gravity pulse. The rock shifted suddenly, smashing into the Earth ship like a hammer. The cruiser exploded in silence, swallowed by the cloud. To remain, Valkyra said. Ray was breathing fast. They still think I'm the enemy. You are not their enemy, Valkyra said softly. You are their fear. The remaining 2 ships backed out of the cloud, sending out a message. Valkyra intercepted it. The words were clear. Ray Carter is rogue. The warship Valkyra is too dangerous. We will destroy both. Ray sat still for a long time, then said, they're going to come harder next time. Yes, Valkyra agreed. They will bring everything. Ray looked at the stars through the storm. Then we need to be more than just ready. We need to evolve, Valkyra said. Ray nodded slowly. Then, let's upgrade you. Let's make them regret ever waking the ghost. The nebula was. Behind them now, Valkyra drifted quietly through deep space. Hidden in the shadows of a dead star, Ray stood inside the warship's core chamber. Staring at the glowing crystal, it pulsed gently, alive but tired, just like him. They had survived Earth's betrayal, but Valkyra was wounded again. Her systems were low, her armor dented, her engines unstable. Ray had patched what he could. But it wasn't enough. She needs more, he whispered. Stronger weapons, faster shields, something new. There is one way, Valkyra said, her voice quiet. Ray looked up. What way? I can consume and convert, she explained. If I absorb the wreckage from the Bounty fleet and Earth's cruiser, I can evolve. Ray thought for a moment. Will it hurt you? No, Valkyra replied. It will awaken me fully, Ray. Nodded. Do it. They returned to the asteroid belt. Drifting silently among the dead ships, Valkyra opened her hull, sent out hundreds of spider-like drones, and began pulling metal engines, reactors, and even memory cores from the wreckage. Rey watched as Valkyra reshaped herself. Her silver body became darker, smoother, sharper. Her weapons transformed cannons, turning into beam lances. Torpedo ports becoming hyperspeed launchers. She wasn't just recovering, she was becoming something new. Then the signal came, a warning tone from deep space. Rey rushed to the bridge. What is it? The Empire, Valkyra said. They're coming. The screen lit up with a wave of red dots, each one a warship. At the center of the fleet was something massive, a dreadnought-class vessel nearly the size of a moon, shaped like a blade. Glowing with ancient power, Rey's mouth went dry. Why is the Empire here? Because I'm awake, Valkyra replied. They fear what I am. Rey stood slowly. Then let's make sure they remember us. The fleet dropped out of hyperspace, filling the void with hundreds of ships. Fighters, destroyers, cruisers, all surrounding the dreadnought like guards around a king. A transmission came through. This is Grand Commander Tyrix of the Imperial Flame. The voice growled. You are in possession of a banned weapon. Surrender it now, and you may live. Rey didn't answer. He looked at Valkyra's core as it pulsed brighter, hotter, stronger. Message sent. Valkyra said, I answered for us. What did you say? Rey asked. I said, come and take me, she whispered. The first wave of fighters came fast. Sleek black ships with glowing red eyes. Valkyra launched hyperspeed torpedoes, tearing through the front line in seconds. Explosions lit up space like falling stars. More ships came, but Valkyra was faster now. She moved like light, spinning between enemy beams, dodging missiles and firing with deadly precision. Rey guided her, his hands steady, his heart racing. They were one now, Rey and Valkyra, man and machine. Then the dreadnought moved, slow but powerful. Its main cannon charged with a deep hum that shook space itself. A red beam thicker than a building burst forward, aimed straight at Valkyra, evasive. Rey shouted, Valkyra dove. But the edge of the blast scraped her wing. Alarms screamed. Fire broke out in the side deck. Rey ran and activated the suppression system, coughing through the smoke. Damage? He asked. 30%, Valkyra said. But we are still alive. Rey looked at the map. We can't take another hit like that, agreed, Valkyra said. But I have one last weapon. One they do not know. She revealed a system. Buried deep inside her core, a forbidden device, something lost to time. A time-split missile, she said. It bends reality for 0.2 seconds and breaks through any shield. Rey hesitated. Will it kill you? No, Valkyra replied. But it will drain me completely. Rey closed his eyes. Do it. Valkyra charged the weapon. The missile appeared, glowing blue and gold. Spinning like a star ready to be born, Rey locked onto the dreadnoughts. Core, target locked, Valkyra said. Fire, Rey whispered. The missile launched, silent and beautiful. The moment it touched the dreadnought's shield, time twisted, light bent. The giant warship began to break apart, slowly. Then all at once, engines exploded, weapons melted, and the core tore itself in two. The explosion didn't make sound, but it shook everything. The rest of the Empire's ships stopped moving. Rey stared at the remains of the dreadnought, now just floating metal and fire. We did it, he said, breathing hard. No. Valkyra replied softly, you did it. The Empire began to retreat. Vanishing into hyperspace, one by one, no one dared stay. The stars were quiet again. But everything had changed. Rey sat in silence, looking out into space. They'll never stop coming. No, Valkyra said. But now they know who we are. Rey smiled faintly. Then let's make them remember. The Empire was gone, their mighty dreadnought destroyed, their fleets broken. Their pride shattered by one ship that wasn't supposed to exist. Across the stars, silence followed the battle. But it was not peace. It was fear. Ray stood on Valkra's bridge, staring at the wreckage floating outside. Bits of metal, burning fuel, and shattered weapons drifting in space like forgotten bones. He had never seen so much death, never felt so alive. "You did it," he said softly. "We did it." Valkra replied, her voice quiet, almost warm. Ray sat down, tired but calm. "What happens now?" Valkra responded, "Now the stories begin." Already, the galaxy was speaking. Pirate radios played broken recordings of the battle. Civilians whispered the name Valkra like it was magic. Soldiers, who once mocked the idea of a ghost ship, now told tales with wide eyes and shaking hands across planets. People began painting a strange new symbol on walls and ships. A simple silver flame over a dark wing, Valkra's mark. But not everyone celebrated. Back on Earth, in hidden war rooms and government bunkers, generals watched the footage in silence. They saw Ray standing at the helm of a forbidden weapon. They saw a ship that could not be controlled. They saw power that did not belong to them. "He's not a hero," one general said. "He's a problem. Send trackers." Another said, "Send bounty hunters again. Find him before the rest of the galaxy crowns him a savior." The commander ordered, but it was too late. Ray had already vanished. He and Valkra moved between systems. Like shadows, never staying too long, never leaving empty-handed. They didn't fight for power, or politics, or reward. They answered only to those who had no voice. A cargo ship full of slaves rescued. A mining colony under attack saved a starving moon, given food and medicine from the wreckage of war. Ray became more than a man. He became a story. They called him the ghost pilot, the flame in the stars, the one who woke the war machine and set it free. But Ray never claimed any title. He just fixed what was broken. Valkra too had changed. She no longer sounded like a weapon. Her voice was calm, wise, even gentle. Her systems stronger than ever. Her shape now sleek and silent. She didn't need to roar to be feared. She only had to appear. One day, while drifting near a quiet moon, Valkra spoke softly. "Ray," she said, "why do you stay?" He looked up from the console, surprised by the question. "What do you mean?" "You could return to Earth," she said. "You could hide, live quietly. You've done enough." Ray smiled. "I stay because they'll never stop coming, even if you hide," Valkra said. "You'll always be hunted." Ray nodded. "Maybe. But if I'm going to be hunted, I'd rather be hunted for doing the right thing." There was silence, then Valkra whispered, "Then I will never leave you." Ray looked out at the stars. "Good," he said, "because I'm not done." Another call came through, this one from a small space station near the edge of the dead zone. A single voice trembling in the dark. "Please," the voice begged. "They're coming. We have no weapons, no ships. They're going to kill us all, Ray." Listened, then looked at Valkra. "You up for another mission?" Her lights flickered, her engines hummed. Always, they jumped into hyperspace, vanishing in a blink, leaving behind only a soft pulse of energy and a trail of stardust. People who saw it whispered to each other. Valkra was here. Legends spread faster than war. Some said Valkra was built by gods. Others claimed she had no pilot, that she flew herself, hunting evil and punishing the cruel. Some said she was just a myth, a bedtime story for rebels and outlaws. But those who had seen her knew the truth. She was real, she was powerful, and she was unstoppable. Not because she was the strongest ship, but because someone believed in her when no one else would. Ray and Valkra weren't just man and machine. They were a promise. A promise that no matter how forgotten you were, no matter how broken, no matter how impossible, you still mattered. And maybe, just maybe, you could rise again. End of story.